Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters. I welcome you once again to my YouTube channel. I welcome to Big Truth TV. My name is Isaac King AK. I want to appreciate everyone who has been watching this channel, everyone who has been sharing this channel and my posts. I really appreciate you for always being here. And then if it's your first time of visiting my channel, please like and subscribe and share. All right. There are a lot of things to go through. Though it's not a regular channel, it's not where you hear regular things. It's where you get deep truths and very confusing things sometimes. All right. But give it time. I'd like to make this disclaimer I recently started to make. I said the truth you know today as the truth was a lie to you yesterday. So we learn every day. We're growing, and then you allow the Spirit teach you. Um, Everything that I'm saying, I'm not saying from some book or something. Sometimes it's not just about my research; it's about what the Spirit has inspired me to say out to the world. So sometimes it's informations that you know wrongly. Sometimes the informations you're hearing for the first time. Please, I beg you, don't just throw out everything. Okay, allow the Spirit inspire you. Allow the Spirit teach you, and then you will never go wrong when the Spirit is leading you. All right. So we're gonna dive into something else again, something very deep, not confusing this time, but very interesting. Something you already know, but perhaps you're seeing it from the other light. So I'm gonna just throw more light to it. All right. Sit tight. Please don't forget to subscribe before you do anything. All right. And then sit tight as I take you through this journey. All right. Today I'm going to be talking about the conscious and the subconscious mind. The conscious and the subconscious mind. All right. Um, we're easily carried away by what we are taught, you know, um, and we hold on to what we're taught religiously, not knowing that both our conscious mind and our subconscious mind are all knitted together in our souls. And this is like a device that is programmed to store data. All right. Now, your conscious mind is mainly your soul, while your subconscious mind is your spirit. All right. Um, it's the real consciousness that you are. All right. And then most of the time we only know the things we are taught and stick by them. Uh, and when you do that, you block yourself from your subconscious mind, from the one you're not aware of. When you are carried away by the reality of things that you already know, and then you stick by it and not opening your subconscious to the extraterrestrial activities um, and extraterrestrial knowledge that is being fed you by vibrations around you and within you, you would remain in ignorance. Sometimes informations will come past you without you grasping them because you can't even see them right past you. Okay? Now, the conscious mind is what we always play around with. All right? We always play around with, and we are confident and comfortable with it because we think we're in control of it. But in a nutshell, um, what really controls us most of the time is our subconscious reality. Our subconscious reality. I'm going to explain all of this. All right. It's our subconscious reality. Sometimes the things we think we know to do right and we're doing are not entirely the right thing to do. But sometimes, somewhere in the subconscious, some things are corrected on our behalf with or without our knowledge. Just follow me on this journey and I'll explain this information better to you. I'll read just one scripture, the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Like as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So your reality, your true reality, is bettered from your thought. Now, don't forget that um, the soul is a digital machine. Let's call it a digital machine designed to store information, to store information, like to store data. All right, and it's the working device that every spirit needs. Now, without that device intact, the spirit will not function properly. All right. So you all know that we're all tripartite beings: the body, the soul, and the spirit. Okay. Now, your soul is mainly the device that extraterrestrial forces, you call them demons or spirits, are always attacking. Yes, they're always attacking. Now, this attack is mainly done so they can separate you from your body. Now, don't forget that the you is your spirit being, which is the subconscious, the consciousness that exists in all realms and all dimensions. Every religion and every sect have different theories of the conscious being. Now, that spirit is like your higher being, like your higher self. All right, your spirit is your higher self. Now, that is truly who you are. Okay, in every of the realms and dimensions and reincarnations or whatever it is that you are, that is you. All right, now you're attached to a soul and a body. Now, this is what happens in the soul, the battle of the soul. This battle has been there and will be here and will continue to be here. Why? Because you wonder, why are the maybe secret societies or spirits or demons or whoever, why are they interested in the soul? I'm going to tell you all that. Why is the soul so? Why are they not interested in the spirit of the man? Like, you know, why? Because to get to the spirit of the man, you have to go through the soul from the body. Now, the easiest way to do that is when you can disconnect the soul from the body. When the soul is disconnected from the body, the spirit is now weak and can easily be twisted or acted upon. Now, I just pray I don't confuse you, but just follow me gradually. The conscious and the subconscious. Some things that you think you are, like, sometimes you're just living life, like you think, oh, it's because I prayed that this happened, it's because I did this that this happened. No, sometimes because of certain um vibrations, I want to call it vibrations, okay, so I won't be all Christianly, okay, around you and within you, that you have ignited. The moment you start to vibrate on a high frequency, on a higher understanding. How do you vibrate on higher understanding? Is the question that's popping through your mind. Now, when you start to study and start to make research and start to want to know, you start to want to know by studying, by asking questions or listening to people. You start to activate your subconscious, your higher self. When you activate your higher self to a particular level of vibration, it starts to decode certain frequencies, certain informations you will start to decode the moment you can vibrate on a higher frequency. 10 people can be in a room, all gifted people in a room, and then only few get to hear the message that is released in the atmosphere. Yes, why? Because those few are awakened to the level that they can decode frequencies from a higher vibration. All right, now, but for those who are in the conscious level, like in the physical conscious level, your conscious self, which is the physical eyes that you can see and walk around, with your body, and all of that, you would never vibrate on some certain frequencies. You can never hear some certain things. You can see some certain things. You can even perceive some certain things. Why? Because of your vibration level. Okay. Now, this is what happens when the enemy wants to really take over someone. Like, what demons means is um, disembodied spirits. All right, that's what demons mean. So when some disembodied spirit wants to take over a body, then they become active when they have a body. All right, so the person now becomes demonized. All right. After the level of being demonized, then after, if the demons become much, then the person becomes possessed. All right. Now, a possessed person is someone who is now insane. Why? Because he's no longer in control of whatever it is that is happening. Now, it's from one stage to the other. But listen, this is the first thing that they do. Before the attack is carried out, they first attack your soul to separate it from your body. This is why. The moment they are they attack you by attacking your body in trauma form. Now, what do I mean in trauma form? Sometimes we don't know that a lot of people are depressed. Depression, confusions, um, a lot of abuse, psychological abuse. It separates the soul from the body. Why you call some people very cold-hearted, or you call them they're soulless? You can look at some people's eyes to see through them, to see their soul, but you see emptiness. Why? Because trauma and a lot of depressions and a lot of activities that has happened over the time had detached their soul from their body. Now, when that happens, there becomes a vacuum. Then the disembodied spirits then takes over. That's why you see some people act out in some certain way. You'll be wondering, why is this guy so cold? How could he just kill and not feel? How could he just do certain things and not feel? Why? Because the emotional part of the person, which is the body, has been attacked. And because the attack is huge, the soul just detached automatically. It's like a programming. The soul, when there's so much trauma and there's so much attack on the body, the soul automatically detaches from the body. And then when that is done, you discover that you feel empty. You feel like you are yearning for something to fill in. You are always looking for something to validate you. Some people to tell you you're doing well, you're beautiful, you're all of that. Now that is an attack on your body, and your soul is detached. The moment that happens, the enemy creeps in. The moment the enemy creeps in, he starts to take over. Then the spirit is subdued to the minimal level. It's no more active. So another spirit takes over. That is what happens when you say people are possessed. They're first demonized. When that happens is when they separate. So it's very important that you really work on your higher consciousness. Work on your higher consciousness. Feed your spirit. Feed your spirit. The more your spirit is fed, the more powerful it becomes to be able to fight off all of these attacks, because we are attacked on a daily basis. A lot of us are going through a lot of things. And listen, doctrines and dogmas are not designed to help your soul recover from depression. Most of the times, there are a lot of believers go to church, do a lot of church activities, do a lot of things in church, very active in church, but they're depressed. They have a lot of depression, suicidal thoughts, and all of that going through them. And then they still come and sing hallelujah in church and all of that. And the reason is because we are more concerned about how active you are in church than more concerned about how your soul is doing. When Christians talk about soul, are you saved, and all of that, they forget that the soul carries a body. The soul carries a body. Now, when you feed that body with a lot of negativities, like a lot of negative energies consistently, that soul that you're trying to save is disconnected from the body. Yes, that's why I see a lot of people walking around having suicide thoughts. See a lot of people walking around with so much hate and disgust for people and all of that. They hate a lot of people, they're malicious and all of that, but they still sing well, they still preach well, they still do a lot of church things. One thing I've learned, um, that you can actually have the form of godliness. You act like you're godly. It's easy to play out the character. It's very easy. You can master it. And then the most difficult part that we don't even pay attention to is to leave it. All right, leave it. Like you are living a lie, and people can live a lie for years, many years. They're depressed, but they're smiling. They have a lot going on. There's a lot of lies around them, but they're all smiling. They're all happy. That's the most risky thing to do, because such people are very dangerous. They're like a time bomb, and that's where the enemy has kept a lot of people. A lot of people. When you come close to people, supposedly spiritual people, but you discover that they're not spiritual people. They're people who have been actually um, demonized and unconscious. They are unconscious, but they're demonized. So their consciousness is telling them, because the demon that's possessed them is telling them they're doing the right thing. It's the right thing. That's why you see people can just be so full of doctrine and then lack spiritual essence, lack humanity. There's no humanity in them, but they're full of doctrine. They're full of dogmas. There's no humanity. All they know about is denomination and their church, my pastor, my this, and they're so zealous about it. Why? Because their their unconscious mind is like blackout, and then their consciousness is that which is put before them, and which is a mirage, by the way. That's not the reality. This eyes is not the eyes. If you can only see with this eyes, then I'm sorry, you're like a dead man. All right. So I'm not going to waste much of the time. So I'm going to stick by the book. I don't want the video to be very long. All right. I'll read some things I wrote here and I explain a little as we travel. Most times, the things we call miracle or acts of God are 90% of the time is wrong. Most of the things we call miracles, most of the things we call the act of God. Because the truth is that if you follow my teachings very well, you understand that there are a lot of things that happen and it is done by the host of heaven, by the angels and all of that, the messengers and all, and not by Elohim himself or Eloah himself. All right. Now, sometimes we are responsible for the things that happen to us, majority of the time, but we have been taught, designed to have to accredit things to different deities. Sometimes we accredit it to the devil, to Hashatan, sometimes we accredit it to God. All right, but majority of the time we are the architect of most of these things. We are the architect of most of these things. All right. Um, your awakening and positive or negative vibration is mostly the case here. The reason why some of the things happen is depending on how you vibrate and how are you growing. All right, how is your spirit fed? That will determine what happens next. All right, our higher consciousness is the reason why we attract a lot of what we have most of the time. All right, and then your lower consciousness too can make you attract very, very disturbing things. All right, our life is constantly placed on a scale, on a daily scale. We are being judged on a daily basis, on a daily basis. As the sun rises and it sets, we're being judged on different matters, different issues on a daily basis. Now, you need to understand that we are beings that are being directed and ruled by other higher beings. Believe it or not, that you don't really own yourself 100% because there's a higher being that is in charge. The Almighty has control over everything and everyone. Now, apart from the Almighty, there are lesser ones that vibrate on a far higher frequencies that can operate or manipulate people. That's why you see people in the society in different society and systems where they can control and manipulate things. Time and matter is manipulated by forces that have knowledge of them. What you don't know, you cannot control. Right? Even your life, when you don't know certain things, you can't control it. You don't even know how, and it will affect you. Believe it or not. Okay, the transition stage now. I'm going to say this and I'm going to be very fast. Our body is connected to our emotions with a strong um, high connection, with strong high connection, all right, with the soul. I've said this before. The soul and the body are strongly connected. Now, like I said before, there's a huge disconnection that can happen when the body is attacked. All right, say some negative things to a child over and over and over again, the child becomes depressed without knowing. The child start to act out, and then on all of that. So, but there's one major factor that we don't pay attention to, which is the environmental factor. The environment at which a child grows up, the environment at which an individual grows up, affect his or her own soul. Some people are walking around soulless. They're walking around empty. Why? Because they have been attacked, traumatized, abused. The abuse is both the society, both the parents, but the clergy people, and everyone has been abusing us one way or the other by putting some doctrines and dogmas, do's and don'ts that will only muscle your reality. Now, listen, what someone tells you about you is not enough information. You need to find out about you from you. And the only way you can know who you truly are, is when you are awakened, when your higher consciousness is able to be awakened. A lot of people are sleeping, some of which are dead. All right? Anyone whose soul is disconnected from the body is a dead being. All right? Anybody can use you, anybody can manipulate you. So you need to spend time with you. Find out who you are. Listen, no one can define purpose for you than you can. You are the architect of knowing these things, because the Almighty packaged all of these things and gave you. No one came empty. Everyone came with a soul, a body, and a spirit. So the environment can attack you. The environment can traumatize you, but don't let it steal your soul. Don't let them steal your soul. Stay away from toxic people. Stay away from people who would always want to feed you with things that will traumatize you. No matter how much you think you love them, even if the family or whoever it is, but stay away from them if you really want to stay alive and fulfill destiny. You cannot fulfill purpose if your soul is detached from your body. You can't fulfill purpose because there's no vacuum in the realm of the supernatural. Every vacuum is filled with something. The moment there's a separation, something fills in the place. Some people have souls of disembodied spirits, which you call demons, some Nephilim, some all manner of possessions. That's why you see people act out in a very crazy way. You'll be wondering, how the hell does he do that? Why doesn't he feel anything? Yes, they cannot